Peace and love, black families. Dr. Umar Johnson, the Prince of Pan-Africanism, live and direct, coming to you from Orlando, Florida, okay, where I'm going to be speaking at tonight. And so I just wanted to do a little video, really quick if we could, okay, on homeschooling, all right, because I've been getting a lot of requests and phone calls and things about homeschooling. I just had a video up a minute ago, but that video died. So hopefully this one don't die. I don't know what's been going on lately with my Facebook feeds, but they ain't been cooperating. So anyhow, I'm going to be speaking today here in Orlando, Florida, for my brothers and sisters who are around the Florida area. Dr. Umar Johnson is here for the first time in about 3 or 4 years. I will be speaking here in Orlando, Florida today at 4 o'clock. Doors open up at 3 o'clock. I repeat, I will be speaking today, Saturday, November the 5th, in Orlando, Florida at 4 p.m. Doors open up at 3 p.m. The address is 4949 Silver Star Road. 4949 Silver Star Road. I will be talking about, among other things, this coming Tuesday's presidential deception. So I'll be talking about Tuesday's presidential deception. I will be talking about the psychoacademic war against black boys. I will be talking about the special education and ADHD holocaust against black children. I will be talking about my recent visit to Africa, the upcoming 2nd annual Black College and Consciousness Tour. I will be talking about intellectual masturbation in the conscious community, the role of the black church of black oppression, post-traumatic slavery disease, Willie Lynch, and psychological residuals of slavery. I will touch on the Nat Turner movie, Birth of a Nation. So I will be dealing with a lot of issues today here in Orlando, Florida. So come on out, because as you know, whenever Dr. Umar Johnson presents, I always try to tackle a diverse array of issues so that everyone who comes out feels well fed. So hope to see you guys today here in Orlando, Florida. My first time I ever got in an airplane was to fly to Florida, senior class trip, 1992. Shout out to the Scotland School for Veterans Children Alumni. Shout out to the brothers and sisters who graduated with me on June 6, 1992. But that was the first time I ever got into an airplane to fly on down to Orlando, Florida. We went to Disneyland for my senior class trip. Again, we went to Disneyland for my senior class trip. And that was the first time I got on an airplane. Freaked out because we experienced some turbulence midstream on our way to Orlando. I thought the plane was going to go down. The plane was acting crazy. And I thought that my first time on the plane was going to be my last time on the plane, if you catch my drift. But thank God, Supreme Consciousness got us safely to Orlando. The winds of Oya took us there, brought us back. The metal of Ogun, the iron of Ogun took us there and got us back. So that was beautiful. So let's go ahead and talk about this homeschool situation, okay? We're going to talk about homeschooling today. Got my coconut water, all right? All right. Homeschooling, couple things right off the bat. And everything I talk about is in no particular order. Everything is relevant, okay? Everything I talk about is relevant. It's in no particular order, okay? So I want to make sure that we are clear about that, okay? So, first of all, if you're going to homeschool, okay, you need to have a curriculum, but you also need to have a curriculum calendar. And I would argue that your curriculum calendar is just as important as the curriculum. In fact, if you do not have a curriculum calendar, your curriculum, no matter how great you think it is ultimately useless. I'm gonna say it again. If you don't have a calendar to go along with your curriculum, then your curriculum is ultimately useless. Why do you say that, Dr. Umar Johnson? I'm saying that because as a certified school principal, as a former school principal, as a former school assistant principal, as a school administrator, not the Hotep kind, but the real kind, I can tell you that the curriculum only says what you hope to teach. The curriculum says what you would like to teach. The curriculum illustrates what you intend or desire to teach, but it is the plan. It is the plan. It is the curriculum calendar, the time schedule that actually shows what you will teach and what you can teach. Without a curriculum calendar, your curriculum is a dream seeking manifestation. Let me say that again. Without a curriculum calendar, your curriculum is a dream seeking manifestation. So it is very, very, very important that you create a curriculum calendar. All this means is you're going to break down that curriculum into digestible chunks of instructional time. Okay, so the curriculum itself has your goals, your objectives, your instructional strategies. Okay, that's what you're going to do. The calendar puts it on a time schedule. So you got this big curriculum. How do you put this on a time schedule? Okay, so in order to put your curriculum on a time schedule, all right, you're going to have to know how long you plan to homeschool. Is your homeschool going to be a year-round homeschool? Is your homeschool going to follow the traditional public school calendar of 8 or 9 months? You need to know this, because how can you create a calendar if you don't even know the academic year that you're going to follow? So you need to decide whether you're going to have a year-round homeschool or whether you're just going to follow the school district's August to May or September to June calendar. You need to know this. So basically, you're looking at the curriculum and you say to yourself, this is what I'm going to teach week 1 in September. This is what I'm going to teach week 2 in September. This is what I'm going to teach week 3 in September. But you're actually going to put the dates. You're going to put the dates. The curriculum calendar forces you to take the curriculum and break it down. Not just by lesson, not just by objective, not just by instructional strategy, but based on when this is actually going to be taught. See, the curriculum calendar makes you think logically and realistically about the curriculum. So you got this big science curriculum. You got this great big science curriculum, okay? So how are you going to get all that science curriculum into 9 months of instruction if you're going to do an 8-9 month or even 12? But see, even if you do a year-round calendar, you're still going to be taking breaks throughout. So even a year-round academic calendar, a child will still end up having about 6 to 8 weeks of break time, vacation time. So a year-round school doesn't necessarily give you more school days. It reduces the amount of the breaks that a child takes, and it divides them up across the annual calendar. Okay, so you must have a calendar. Okay, you're telling me you're homeschooling. First thing I'm going to say, show me your calendar. This is the curriculum. This is cute. The curriculum is beautiful. Okay, now show me the calendar. I want to see how you've excuse me. I want to see how you've assigned these different objectives, okay, and curriculum goals to spaces of time. Okay, how much of this are you going to get done in September? How much of this curriculum are you going to get digested in October? How much of this curriculum are you going to get digested in November? So you must have a calendar. Go to Staples, go to Office Max, go to whatever business store you belong to, okay, and get you a calendar. Get the big ones that go on the board. Get a big 9-month dry erase calendar. Take that curriculum and start breaking it down. Okay, we do an hour of math per day. We do math 5 days a week. How much of this can I get to the first day? How much of this can I get to the second day? And let me be honest, the more specific you are, the more realistic you are. The more specific your curriculum calendar, the more realistic you are. Let me give you an example. 3 teachers, right? They all have a curriculum calendar. One teacher has the curriculum broken down by week. Another teacher has the curriculum broken down by month. Another homeschooling mother or father or teacher has the curriculum broken down by day. Which one is the most realistic? The one who breaks the curriculum down by day. because only he or she will actually get through it, because they're actually assigning curriculum content based on each chunk of instructional time. You understand? The teacher or homeschooling parent who breaks it down by a month, that's not specific enough. I don't know if you're going to get to all of that in a month. The one who breaks it down by a week, I don't know if you're going to get to all of that in a week, but when you break it down by a day, by each instructional lesson, that's going to be much more effective. So I repeat, a curriculum without a curriculum calendar is a dream seeking manifestation. What's the first thing I do? As a principal, first thing my teachers do, in service, they come back, get out your calendars. We're going to do a curriculum calendar. I want to know exactly what you intend to teach. I want to make sure they process the curriculum. See, the good thing about curriculum calendar, it makes you process the curriculum. It makes you review the curriculum. It makes you look at the details of the curriculum. The only way I know that my teachers have read the curriculum is if I force them to do a curriculum calendar. And yes, I do have to say force, because a lot of teachers don't think a curriculum calendar is necessary. It's very necessary. And if you're homeschooling, you need to make sure you have a curriculum calendar, because guess what happens when you don't? When you don't have a curriculum calendar, guess what you end up doing? Teachers do this, homeschool parents do this. The lecturers today, my brother, 4 o'clock, Dr. Umar Johnson, 4949 Silver Star Road. Somebody post a flyer if you can on the Facebook feed for this parent tutorial. Post my Orlando flyer. Just take it off of my Facebook feed and just post it. There's about 3 different flyers. It's the same information. Okay, so anyhow, if you don't have a curriculum calendar, you know what's going to happen? Your homeschool program is going to end up degenerating into activity without achievement. Activity without achievement. Let me say this again. I want my teachers, because I know I got teachers listening, because today's Saturday, you guys are off from work. Activity without achievement. Let me tell you what activity without achievement is. Activity without achievement is when you come into work, you have the curriculum, but you don't have a calendar for the curriculum. So guess what you do? You say, okay, I got math today. I don't have no plan. Let me just go through the curriculum and find something that I think will keep the child's attention. Let me find some busy work. See, I don't want your homeschool operation to degenerate into a busy work program, because that's what a lot of homeschools are. You go in there, the kid is working, but it's activity without achievement. What are they working toward? What is the purpose of today's lesson? How does this tie into the annual goals of the curriculum? Please don't think activity without achievement is progress. It's like black people fighting against racism. We do this and we do that and we do that. But what is the goal? Is today's behavior tied into some measurable goal? It's the same thing with instruction. If the activity the child is working on, no matter how productive you think it will be, if it is not ideologically and practically and curricularly, pedagogically tied into the curriculum, it's ultimately largely a waste of time. It's ultimately largely a waste of time. I don't want to see activity without achievement. This is what I tell my teachers. I don't want to see activity without achievement. That's what you see in 95% of schools that educate black children. That's what you see in 95% of schools that educate black children. And that's what you see in 95% of schools across the world who don't force the teachers to adopt a curriculum calendar. And the reason I don't necessarily believe in a universal curriculum calendar, because every teacher is different. Remember, the teacher makes their own lesson plans. The teacher makes their own lesson plans. So if the teacher makes their own lesson plans, if the homeschooling mother or father, brother, sister, grandmom, grandpa makes their own lesson plans, how can you force upon them a curriculum calendar? You have to make them sit down. You have to make them sit down and go through it, We don't want activity without achievement. We want activity with achievement. And the only way you can have that is with a good curriculum and curriculum calendar. Now, you also have to decide whether your homeschool is going to be year round, or whether it's going to follow the 8-9 month regular public school system. Also, you need an assessment plan. For my people in Georgia, I will be speaking in Columbus, Georgia, Tuesday, November the 22nd. Columbus, Georgia, Tuesday, November the 22nd. If you need the flyer, you can email me for it, drumarjohnson.com, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. You can also add me on WhatsApp, 215-989-9858. I repeat, add me on WhatsApp, 215-989-9858, and I can send you the flyer. Okay, assessment plan. If you are homeschooling, you need an assessment plan. Who is going to test and or evaluate your children to make sure your homeschool program is effective? Who is going to test and or evaluate your children to make sure your homeschool program is effective? This is very important, brothers and sisters. This is very important, brothers and sisters. Who do you have testing your child in math, testing your child in reading, testing your child in writing, history, science, African language? You need an independent evaluator. You cannot be it. You are biased. Your ego is not going to let you know that you're doing a terrible job. Your ego is not going to let you know that you need improvement. You must have an outside person. Even if Dr. Umar Johnson is homeschooling my two beautiful daughters, I'm a master educator, not the Hotep educator, a real one. I'm a master educator, okay? Even I can't assess and evaluate my own children, okay? You got to get someone else to do that, okay? So you need to find you a retired teacher. You can get an assessment corporation, but please be careful about the assessment corporations, okay? Sylvan and all these places, they cost a lot of money, and as far as I'm concerned, the bang ain't really worth the buck, okay? They basically get paid off of your fear of your child not achieving. They exaggerate differences and they exaggerate deficits. This is what I've seen, okay? And I'm not going to paint them all with the same broad brush. There's exceptions to every rule, okay? But you do need to be careful whenever you bring a for-profit assessment company to the table, because their job is to get paid. So I would just find me a teacher, educator, school psychologist. In Pennsylvania, I do a lot of homeschool evaluations for parents who are homeschooling, usually professors. They'll call Dr. Umar Johnson and, can you evaluate my child? Let us know. And I do a full assessment and let them know the strengths and weaknesses intellectually and academically. So that's something that I do in Pennsylvania, okay? But even outside of that, I can do regular academic testing on the educational side, no matter where you are. So if you need me to come and do some things with your child to see where they are, we can make that happen. But you must have an outside assessment person. You must have, whether they're taking standard tests, which pros and cons, and I already did a video on that when I was in South Africa. You can scroll down my Facebook to see many of my previous tutorials, okay? But you need someone to come in, assess your children, and see how well they're doing, okay? No ifs, ands, or buts. You must have an independent assessor, okay? Support staff. You're going to need support staff. And why are you going to need support staff? Because you can't do everything well. And let me say this. Homeschooling is easier the younger the child is. Homeschooling is more difficult the older the child is. Let me say this again. Homeschooling is easier the younger the child is. Homeschooling can be a little bit more difficult the older the child is. You understand? So if you're preschool through 5th grade, you can handle that. Okay, all you have to do is go online, type in homeschool curriculums. There's dozens of websites you can download curriculums. Make sure you go to your state Department of Education website, download the state standards for your state. Your child is in the 5th grade, download the state standards. Your child is in the 2nd grade, download the state standards. Your child is in the 10th grade, download the state standards. This is free. In fact, you can go to your local school district and you can often get a CD or DVD of the entire school district's curriculum. Okay, why do you need this? So you can see what the minimum basics acceptable education is. You're going to exceed the school district's curriculum. Okay, that's why you took them out, because it's not good enough. Okay, but you want to see what the minimum is so you can exceed the minimum. So always get the state standards, always get the school district curriculum and stuff. That's your minimum basic level of instruction. You're going to exceed it, but I want you to know what the basic is so you have a position to work from, okay? So make sure you get that. Also, if you're going to be homeschooling, make sure you fill out the proper paperwork. When you just decide you're going to homeschool and you don't fill out the paperwork, your child goes on a truancy list. And depending on your school district's policy and your state law, after 10, 15, 20 consecutive days absent from school, they send out the police, they send out the truancy officers, they send out child protective services, they send out the social workers. You don't want that. I don't want that for none of you. So if your child was previously in school, now if they were never enrolled, okay, you can 50% of the time you'll be okay. If your child has never been enrolled in any public school education, Head Start, Get Set, early intervention, public daycare, preschool, kindergarten, if they were never enrolled in any of that, then you don't have to worry about it. But if your child is on record as being a public school student in that state, you need to go to the school district and fill out the paperwork. I don't know why parents don't fill it out. It's not much. In most states, you just fill out a form, sign it, and you homeschool. That's it. Okay, some states it's a little bit more formal. They have to come to your house, check it out, make sure you actually have materials there, because they want to make sure you ain't just pulling the kid out of school because you don't want to take them to school, because we do have trifling black parents. We do have trifling black parents, okay, who will take the kids out and say, I'm homeschooling because I'm tired of taking them to school. I've had that happen. Okay, so, you know, if the child is special ed, some states won't let you homeschool an intellectually disabled kid. Some states won't let you homeschool an autistic kid. So you got to get the state law. You got to get the school district policy, okay? Especially if you have a child with an IEP. This is another reason why we need to stop rushing to put black kids in special education. This is another reason why we need to stop rushing to put black children in special education, because in some states, okay, in some states, if the child is in special ed, depending on the classification, especially if it is a severe disability, autism, blindness, deafness, which are, you know, legitimate, but, you know, mild mental retardation, which is not legitimate, ADHD, sometimes they don't let you homeschool. Or if they do let you homeschool, they put more constraints on you. So that's why I need to slow down with the special ed stuff. Okay. So make sure you fill out the paperwork. Make sure you got your support staff. If you're not good at math, you need a retired teacher to help you out with math. You need a college math major to help your kid out with math. If you're not good in science, find somebody who's good at it. Okay, don't ignore it, because your child is going to be miseducated. Yes, a black child can be miseducated, okay, in a black home. I've seen it. A black child can be miseducated in a black homeschool program. So make sure you get your support staff. Very, very important, okay? And then the other thing, parents, is you have to do a psychological self-assessment on your readiness to homeschool your children. Are you psychologically fit to be homeschooling? If you're an alcoholic, drug addict, suicidal, depressed, bipolar, borderline, weed head, okay? If you are, and if the house is an unhealthy house, let's say that the mother and father are fighting in the house all the time. Let's say that big brother and mother, God forbid, are cursing each other out, and no son should be allowed to curse his mom out. He need his ass whipped. That's why we need a ski mask club. But if that house is not healthy, if that is a very turbulent household, why do we want to homeschool a kid in a place where sexual abuse happens? Why do we want to homeschool a kid in a place where people are always fighting, people are always arguing, okay? People are always coming in and out the house. You might have a house that's like very, very social, like your house is the center of neighborhood activity. And guess what? I ain't got a problem with that. Your house might be the go-to house for the conscious community. And if your house is the go-to house for the conscious community, that's fine. But you got to shut all of that down if you're trying to educate your children. Your children are your first priority. Your children are your first priority, not the conscious community, okay? So, but if you're one of them people who can't control that, you can't homeschool. You might have to go to the library, and I've seen parents do this. This is a good idea. They go to the library and they rent out a room at the library. They rent out a room at the library, or they rent out office space. They rent out office space, and them and their child take themselves every morning to this office space or to this room in the library where they homeschool their children. Okay, sometimes you may have to do that. If you're not organized, if you're not disciplined, if you can't control the traffic in your home, if the home isn't healthy, guess what? You physically wake up every day just like they're going to school. Come on, we're going to school, and you're going to homeschooling for 4 or 5 hours. You're in an office space, no distractions, nobody coming in and out. It's totally quiet. They can be educated. And this is psychologically empowering. You want to know why? Because when you're done homeschooling at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, you feel like you've achieved something because you got through that whole day's lesson plan as assigned on your curriculum calendar, and you can say we got through it, as opposed to feeling guilty. Okay, you stayed at home, you didn't get the lesson plans completed, you didn't go through the entire lesson plan, you did not meet the goals of your curriculum calendar as laid out on the calendar. Now you got the shift, and now you're starting to question yourself. Am I doing a good job? Maybe this is not for me. I'm a stupid parent. It's not that you're a stupid parent. You're not being realistic about the fact that your home is not the best place to be homeschooling your children. You're not dumb. You're not stupid. Your home might not be the best place to homeschool. Okay? I know my home isn't the best place to homeschool. I got books on top of books. I got magazines. I got this. I got FDMG. I got college tour. I got repatriation task force. I got ex-offender conference. I got lecture requests and this and that and this and that. Okay? I know my home ain't the best place to homeschool. I would definitely have to take my little ladies to a library. Okay? So be realistic about whether or not your home is healthy and whether or not your home is the best place to homeschool. You might have to go next door. Maybe you have to use the neighbor's house to homeschool. There's nothing wrong with that. Can I use your house 4 hours, okay? Okay, while you go to work, they give you the key if they trust you enough not to steal, okay? And you just go homeschool next door and you come right on back, all right? But you have to do a self-assessment. Are you organized? Do you tend to, are you impatient? Remember, you should not be homeschooling your child if you are an impatient parent. Let me say it again. I've seen black parents destroy the self-esteem, self-worth, and self-concept of their children. I've seen black children, okay? I've seen black children's self-esteem, self-worth, and self-concept get destroyed by their own parents. If you are a perfectionist, if you're trying to live your life through your children, you should not be homeschooling your children. You're going to destroy their self-worth. You're going to be overly cynical. You're going to be overly punitive. You're going to be overly pessimistic. You're going to be overly condemnatory, and your child will start hating school because they're going to associate learning with parental verbal abuse. That's right. They will start associating learning with parental verbal abuse. Okay? Can you homeschool your children? Do a self-assessment. Okay? Do you have support? Do you have people who encourage you? Because guess what? Being a teacher, a real teacher at school or a homeschool teacher at home, it's a very taxing job because it's mental. It's like me being a psychologist, a therapist, an educator, an orator. It's mental. So you got to have time to unwind. You can't homeschool and go straight from homeschool to go to work, come back, dealing with your husband, dealing with your wife, dealing with the kids, taking care of the house. When do you get a break? You will suffer a nervous breakdown. Do you realistically have the psychological resources available for you to be homeschooling? Because I know the Hotep brothers, they keep talking about homeschool, you need to homeschool, but you know, they're just talking. You got to do a thorough psychological self-assessment. Okay? Well, Shelton, don't even get into that, Shelton. Don't listen. Listen. If I were not relevant, they would not be worrying about me. Let's just keep it real. All these little jealous Negroes would not be worrying about me if I was not relevant. So we're not going to worry about them. You understand? The reason they do videos on me, the reason they do blogs, the reason they tweet on me is because they get more attention mentioning my name than they do mentioning their own name. Isn't that something? If you wonder why I don't do videos on none of these dusty Hotep ass dudes and women, is because mentioning their name does nothing for the Dr. Umar Johnson brand. Do you understand? I'm at the top of the food chain when it comes to black consciousness. I'm not at the bottom of the food chain. I'm at the top. No one is above this man here. You understand? So me mentioning anybody's name is a waste of my time. That's why I don't mention them. They want me to mention them so they can get Facebook likes and YouTube videos and tweets. Me personally, I wonder about the sexual orientation of some of these Negroes. And I just want to digress for a minute. But I wonder about the sexual orientation of some of these Negroes. You are a black man and you have a whole page dedicated to Umar Johnson. You wake up 5 o'clock in the morning posting on Umar Johnson. Don't get me wrong. I know I'm the man and all that, but dude, I'm not into that lifestyle. You understand me? Okay, I am happy to be heterosexual. Do you understand? So I don't know what they into. You understand? But I'm happy to be heterosexual. So I don't understand that because I can never wake up every day and talk about Umar every day. Okay? So we going to let them do what they going to do. Okay? And we going to do what we going to do. Okay? We too blessed to be stressed. Y'all feel me? We too blessed to be stressed. We got too much work to take care of. You understand? I just came back from Nairobi, Kenya, speaking to leaders of 40 different African nations. Young leaders from 40 different African nations. Do you really think I give a damn about some dusty hotep Negro who found a way to get paid by selling black consciousness to his people? I ain't thinking about that. I'm too blessed to be stressed, babe. I'm too blessed to be stressed. So let us get back onto that. Okay, so make sure you do a thorough self-assessment, okay? Now, the other question you have to ask yourself if you're going to be homeschooling is how long will you be homeschooling? How long are you going to homeschool for a year? Or are you going to homeschool for 2 years? Or are you going to homeschool for 3 years? You need to know this because you got to have a plan. If you know you're not homeschooling until graduation, you need to be on your game. Because if that child is going to be stuck back into a public, parochial, charter, independent school, you need to make sure that they are up to task and skill level. So after they get reintegrated into the school system, they can keep on achieving. So it is very, 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 very important, okay, that we are following our curriculum and our curriculum calendar, and that we are strategically designing our lesson plans to make sure that our children are learning, because we understand that one day we're going to put this child back into public school. Okay? So you need to begin with the end in mind. You need to begin with the end in mind. I'm only homeschooling until 6th grade. I'm only homeschooling until 9th grade. You need to know that so you have a framework from which to work, okay? Now, if you're going to be homeschooling more than one child, okay? If you're going to be homeschooling more than one child, that is going to be a little bit more challenging, but you can do it. If they're twins and they're on the same grade level, it's fine because everybody's at the same instructional level. Even though twins can be at different levels. One can be gifted, one can be regular. Okay, one could be a step behind, one could be a step down. But here, let me give you a little technique. You're homeschooling a 3rd grader, a 6th grader, and a 9th grader. You say, Dr. Umar, I got 3 children, 3 different grade levels, 3 grades apart. What am I going to do? This is the trick. This is the Dr. Umar recipe. You don't have to create necessarily a totally separate curriculum for each of your children because they are in different grades. Okay? If you want to contact me for an interview, just send me an email, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com, drumarjohnson@yahoo.com. If you would like to invite me to speak, okay, then you can send that to Dr. Umar Speaks, DRUMAR Speaks @yahoo.com. Okay, Dr. Umar Speaks @yahoo. If it is a speaking invitation, if it is personal correspondence, interview request, then Dr. Umar Johnson @yahoo.com. You can also WhatsApp it to me. Add me on WhatsApp, 215-989-9858, 215-989-9858. You can WhatsApp me for the interview request as well. Okay. And when y'all do these interview requests, please give me all the information, website, radio dial. Is it purely internet based? Is it AM? Is it FM? Okay. And also let me know what type of interview it's going to be. Is it going to be positive and affirming? Is it a dusty hotepper interview where you just want to talk about gossip and nonsense? Okay, just let me know. I might still do it, but just let me know. I'd like to know what I'm walking into. Okay, So anyhow, all right, so let's keep on going here. Oh, lesson planning, curriculum, curriculum calendar, lesson plan. Though that's the trinity of effective homeschool instruction: curriculum, curriculum calendar, lesson plan. Let me say it again: curriculum, curriculum calendar, lesson plan. Now the lesson plan is the music. You see how you see music on the sheet? Okay, you have the music on the sheet, and then you have your instrument, your trombone, your flute, right? How do you translate what's on the sheet into action? How do you get the student to digest that music so it comes out of the machine? Okay? That is the lesson plan. The lesson plan is how you take the curriculum, okay, which you've allotted to a certain day and time, curriculum calendar, and now you need to make it digestible to the child. Okay, how do I take the nutrition from my curriculum? Okay, I want to extract the nutrition from my curriculum so my child can digest it. Y'all follow me? How do I extract the juices, the vegetarian juices and the sweetness? Okay, how do I take the beta carotene out of this carrot and translate that into digestible nutrition? The lesson plan is the blender of education. The lesson plan is the juicer of education. The lesson plan is how we break down the nutrition of the curriculum in a way that a child can digest it. The lesson plan is how we break down the nutrition that is in the curriculum in a way that the child can digest it. Did that make sense to you guys? So the lesson plan is strategic. The lesson plan is about how do I get the child to digest this nutrition. Okay, so lesson planning is very important. Let me give you a little tip on lesson planning. For every hour spent lesson planning, okay, for every hour spent lesson planning, that will be an hour that you do not waste on activity without achievement. Okay, let me come at this another way. For every hour of instruction, you need to spend an hour of planning. Y'all get that? 2 hours of instruction, 2 hours of planning. So guess what, homeschooling parents? If your homeschool is a 4 hour a day operation, and I don't see anything wrong with a 4 hour a day operation. Okay. Well, okay, you got a 4 hour a day homeschool operation. That means what? You got to spend 4 hours planning. Now, do you have to do 4 hours every night? No. You have to take a Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon to do what? To plan. You gotta plan. A teacher who doesn't plan is a horrible teacher. A homeschooling parent who doesn't plan is a, horrible homeschooling. There is no education without preparation. There is no education without preparation. There is no education without preparation. Let me say it again. There is no education without preparation. You have to plan and organize the lessons, or otherwise you fall back into the trap of activity without achievement. We don't need activity without achievement. Okay? Also, you need to create a homeschool space. You need to create a homeschool space. Listen, some people say, my whole house is a homeschool. Have y'all heard this? They say, my whole house is a homeschool. Nah. We're not doing that. We're not doing the whole house is a homeschool thing. Okay? We're not doing that. Okay? I want you to pick a room, a corner, a basement, cubby hole, closet, attic, roof. I need you to find a place in your house that is designated the homeschool learning center. That's right. That's right. If you ain't homeschooling, you are not I want you to make your homeschool space a sanctuary. I want you to make your homeschool space divine. I want you to make your homeschool space supernatural. I want you to guard it like a church. Guard it like a masjid. Guard it like an altar. I want you to guard it. That's right. I want you to guard your homeschool space. That's right. When people come into your house, excuse me, you're not allowed in there. The only thing that goes on in that room is learning. That's it. That's it. Okay? I'm serious. I'm serious. Keep it clean. Keep it smelling good. Sage it out every once in a while. Okay? Keep the books. When your child walks into that room, they whole energy shift. When your child walks into the homeschool space for the morning, their whole energy shift. You understand? I want them to feel it. We come in here to learn. We come in here to participate in the psychological revolution of education. Do you understand? I don't want the whole house being no homeschool. That's not good psychologically either. You want to know why? Because there's no boundaries for you, mama. You listen to me, my brothers and sisters, my homeschooling daddy, you need boundaries. You need to know I'm done with homeschooling for the day. I can shift now to my business that I'm trying to start. I can shift now to my ancestral altar. I can shift now to caring for my wife. I can shift now to go helping out my mom. I can shift now and get ready to go to the community meeting. I can shift to go pick up the other children. You understand? You need to have things compartmentalized so you don't get overloaded. The brain needs to know I'm done. If your whole house is a homeschool, guess what happens? If your whole house is a homeschool, your brain never powers down from homeschooling mode. So when you start cooking, the homeschool's still running while you cooking. You see, this is why people who working at home is good, but only if you have a space for working at home. Your whole house should not be the business. Your job, your at-home business should be confined to a room, which should not be the bedroom, where you sleep and where you enjoy intimacy with your partner. That should not be business. That needs to be made holy. Okay? So now we got 3 holy places. Okay? Your bedroom is a holy place. The homeschool room is a holy place, and your ancestral altar, wherever that may be, okay, have its own space, okay? So those are 3 holy places: where we sleep, okay, where we learn, okay, and where we communicate with our ancestors, okay? And then the 4th place I would add is whatever you pray and meditate to the Most High God. Okay, wherever you pray and meditate to the Most High God, and that might be the same space as your ancestral altar. It doesn't have to be radically different. The room with the altar may also be the room where you honor Most High. And of course, we always pray to Most High God first, right? We always pray to Most High God, because if it wasn't for God, there would be no ancestors. So we deal with the Most High first, and then we communicate with the ancestors. Okay? All right? So make sure you protect it. And then the child needs to know that they're done with homeschooling too. Just like you need to compartmentalize when homeschooling is over, your son or daughter needs to also compartmentalize when homeschooling is over. Because if they don't know that homeschooling is done, their mind, they keep seeing math and science and this. They feel like, I want to get out this house. I just want to get out this house, because everywhere I look, it's nothing but, learning and learning and learning. And don't get me wrong, learning is a 24-hour day job, but we don't want children to feel that they're always in the formal process of learning all day long, because you didn't turn the whole house into a homeschool because you ain't got no discipline. See, that's where that comes from. That comes from a lack of well, my whole house is my job. No. You ain't got no discipline to keep that stuff in its own place. You got to have discipline. Okay? You need that discipline. We all need that discipline, all right? Okay? So that's how we need to do with that. All right. I'm going to tell you something else, and I know y'all not going to like this. Y'all ready? Homeschooling parents, are y'all ready? If you are serious about homeschooling, if you are serious about homeschooling, if you are not a home fooler, because some of you are home foolers, okay? If you want to be a serious home schooler, turn off your cell phone during homeschool hours. I'm going to say it again. Turn off your cell phone during homeschool hours. That's right. You should have an automatic voicemail that says, I am homeschooling my child. I will not be available until 1 p.m. Make people respect your children's education. Make people respect your children's education. We homeschool from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. We homeschool from 7 a.m. until 12 p.m. I am not to be bothered and my phone is off. Don't answer it. Don't answer the voicemail. You cannot check email. Okay? You are in a spiritual place of preparing your child's divine mind for political, economic, and spiritual revolution. Nothing is more important than that. Unless it is a life-threatening emergency, guard your child's time. And in guarding their time, you guard their mind. Do you understand? So I'm going to tell you, if you homeschooling and you checking your cell phone, you checking your social media, you taking emails, you ain't homeschooling. How are you going to get them to focus on learning when you're not focused on their learning? How are you going to get them to focus on learning when you are not focused on their learning? Do you understand? Turn off the phone. I see homeschool parents on the phone. How you teaching and you on your phone? And then you get mad at the kid when they get on their phone. You are a bad example. Remember, apples don't fall far from the tree. Apples don't fall far from the tree. Your child is nothing more than a manifestation of all of your bad habits. Can I say that again? Can I say that one more time? Your child is nothing more than a manifestation of all of your bad habits. Stop blaming them and blame yourself. And blame yourself. Okay? Turn off the cell phone. Okay. Now, let me go back again. I was talking about when you have 3 different children at 3 different age levels, 3 different grade levels, how do you homeschool effectively for all of them? You differentiate the lesson. You differentiate the lesson. The content may be the same. Let me give you an example. Y'all talking about slavery. Today there's a lesson on American slavery. Your 3rd grader may have to identify major heroes and sheroes who fought against slavery. That's your 3rd grader. Your 6th grader may have to write a thorough assessment of how slavery was brought to an end in America. Your ninth grader will have to identify ways and means through which the so-called freedom guaranteed African Americans in the 13th and 14th Amendment has not yet been realized. Your 9th grader's job is to connect the abolitionist movement against slavery to modern strategies that are used to keep black people in their place. So he has to look at the police brutality. He has to look at the rolling back of certain voter rights that have taken place in the last administration. He even has to look at, or she has to look at, how Barack Obama was not a symbol of freedom, but a symbol of the new Jim Crow against black Americans. Do you see this? Same content, but each of your children is working on a different aspect of that content. Your 3rd grader is dealing with knowledge. Who are the heroes and zeros? Okay? Your 6th grader is dealing with analysis. Okay? How was slavery brought to an end? Your 9th grader is now dealing with critical thinking and projection. How are they still, in current application, how are they still oppressing African Americans 150 years after the 13th and 14th Amendment? Do you understand? Some of y'all think you got to have a totally different this for the 3rd grader and a totally different this for the 6th grader and a totally different this for the 9th grader. You can if you want. I don't know how you're going to implement that. No, keep it. We all are on the same content. You understand? The subject is the same. The lesson is different. The math subject is the same. The lesson is different. The science subject is the same. The lesson is different. The historical subject is the same. The lesson is different. Facts. 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 Okay, I think I'm going to do my own homeschool conference. I participated in some in the past. A couple people have invited me to some, but I wasn't able to make it. So shout out to the homeschool folks. I got some homeschool haters out there too. You know, I ain't gonna even get into them right now. Okay, but anyhow, let's keep on going. Okay. You need to get someone to coach You need to have a homeschool coach. Okay, very important that you have a homeschool coach. I can coach you, but you know I'm real busy, so I ain't got a whole bunch of time, but I can coach you a little bit. Find somebody who's homeschooling, they can coach you. You also need to join the National Independent Black Parent Association. You also need to join the National Independent Black Parent Association. Our next conference will be January 26th to the 29th. It was going to be in Oakland, but I think it's now going to be in San Diego, California. I think I'm going to put the 3rd regional training conference for the National Independent Black Parent Association in San Diego, California, January 26th to the 29th, because it's going to be cold in the Midwest, cold in the East. We're going to go east to West Coast, West Side, and get us some of that San Diego sun. It'll probably be at the World Beat Community Center. Shout out to Queen Mother Makeda. She just confirmed yesterday that that was available. So San Diego, Dr. Umar Johnson will be back. I think this will be my first time in San Diego since 2014. So it'll be 3 years. So San Diego, we coming. Now that's not 100% confirmed, but it's 99.999. And remember, family, the only way you can start a chapter of the National Independent Black Parent Association is to come to a training conference. That's the only way I know you're serious. That's right. Sacrifice some time, sacrifice some money, and come on out and get that training. 7 committees. Homeschool committee, we're going to organize parents to homeschool. What we're talking about, we're going to have a homeschool movement, a homeschool network until we have Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey academies all over the world, okay? We're going to have a special ed committee to fight against special ed fraud, special ed abuse. We're going to have a policy committee to fight to change the rules in our schools, in the different school districts that negatively, disproportionately, and discriminately, okay, work against the best interests of black children. We're going to have a discipline committee to investigate the suspensions and expulsion of black boys and black girls, which even the United States Department of Education in an official report 2 years ago stated that black children were being targeted for suspensions and expulsions for minor offenses that was only earning white kids a slap on the hand or an after school detention. Okay, so special ed committee, policy committee, finance committee to look at how they are spending our tax dollars in these schools. So we got to have the finance committee as well. Special ed, discipline, policy, finance, social. We're also going to have a parent advocacy committee. I need some of y'all to go into the schools with our parents, because you know Dr. Umar's rules are that no parent should ever go to a school meeting by themselves. We should all go to a school meeting with somebody else. You understand? I'm starting to feel the Holy Ghost right now. I'm starting to feel the Holy Ghost. Orlando, Florida. It's about to go down this afternoon. I think I got the ghost. I think we're going to drop a classic in Orlando this afternoon. So make sure y'all come on out. Florida, stand up. Okay? So make sure you will be able to register for the National Independent Black Parent Association 3rd Regional Conference in San Diego, California, January 26th to the 29th on my Eventbrite page, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com, princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. Okay. And of course, next Thursday, I will be speaking in Greenville, South Carolina. Next Thursday, this Thursday coming. Okay, November the 10th, I will be speaking in Greenville, South Carolina. Atlanta is only 2 hours away. Charleston, it ain't but 2 hours away. Okay, come on out. I will be doing a lecture on Nat Turner, the history, the movie, the controversy. I was born on that day, August the 21st, the day of the revolution. That's the same day the Haitian Revolution took place, August 21st. That's the same day as the George Jackson Prison Revolution, August the 21st. So please come on out, Greenville, South Carolina. You can get your tickets right now at princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. In celebration of Nat Turner, the tickets in advance are only $10. They're only $10. Children 12 and under are absolutely free at all Dr. Umar Johnson hosted events, and elders 65 and older are also free at all Dr. Umar hosted events. All right. So you need a coach. Okay. Your homeschool team. Now, here's the other thing you got to ask yourself for my homeschooling parents. Do you want to be a homeschool instructor or facilitator? Do you want to instruct your child or do you want to facilitate? Let me give you the difference. A homeschool instructor will be responsible for 90% of the instruction. A homeschool facilitator is going to find the pieces to the puzzle. They're going to find and create the homeschool team. I'm going to find me a homeschool math teacher. I'm going to find me a homeschool language teacher. I'm going to find me a homeschool science teacher. I'm going to find me a homeschool African language teacher. You understand? Some of you might be better facilitating your child's homeschool education versus being the instructor. Do you understand? We got enough retired teachers out there. We got enough college students who can use some extra money. Do you understand? We got a lot of knowledgeable folks in our community. If you don't have the time or discipline or organization or psychological wellness to homeschool your child, facilitate. They say, are you a homeschooling parent? I'm a homeschool facilitator. I facilitate my child's education. I have a whole team. On Monday, they go here for math. On Tuesday, they go here for science. Wednesday, they go here for language arts. Thursday, they go here for African history and science. You understand? So should you be a homeschool facilitator versus a homeschool instructor? Okay. I'm probably going to have to do a book for homeschooling. Y'all think I should do a book, like a nice intro, nothing thick, but a nice intro homeschooling book for Black parents? Okay, I think that might be a good idea. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay. Also, a couple things. Don't cheat your child. Don't cheat your child. And what do I mean by that? When you give your child a reading assignment, that's not part of the homeschool time that you're putting in. I want to be clear about this because some of y'all want to cheat. You have your child reading for 2 hours and say, oh, we're almost done. No. Reading is extra. That does not count for instructional time. We're talking about instructional time. Now, what is Dr. Umar Johnson's rule for instructional time? I believe an effective homeschool program should operate for 20 hours a week, however you break it down. A homeschool kid can be effectively homeschooled on 20 hours a week. Now you have to decide and break down how you're going to manage your 20 hours a week. And by the way, donations, yes, keep the donations coming. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. GoFundMe.com/DrUMAR. GoFundMe.com/D for dedication, R for repatriation, U for unity, M for Marcus, A for Africa, R for redemption. GoFundMe.com/Dr. Umar. If you want to mail in your check or money order donation, and I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the brothers and sisters who have donated to the school fundraiser across the world, especially my repeat donors. Some of y'all donate every single month. Some of y'all donate every single week. I got elders who send me that $10 money order, that $50 check. Okay, my doctors out there, special doctor down in Florida, he know who I'm talking about. I won't call his name, sending me thousands on the regular. We will do this. We will have a school in 2017. It may not be the dream school, but it will be a school to get us started. We might got to crawl before we walk, but one day we will walk. Believe that. FDMG is coming. So you can mail your check or money orders payable to FDMG Academy, FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872. FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 6872. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19132. P.O. Box 6872. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania 19132. Christmas is coming up. Christmas is coming up. You need to sacrifice some of that white Jesus money and send a donation to the school. You also need to save some of that Christmas money because you have to pay for your son or daughter so they could participate in next summer's 2017 Black College and Consciousness Tour. You know, we got the Black College and Consciousness Tour coming up for our 11 to 17-year-old sons and daughters. That's right. We're going to do Atlanta this year. We got Africa coming. We got Europe coming. We got Canada coming. We got the Caribbean coming. That's right. We're going to do Fisk, Tennessee State, Clark, Morehouse, Spelman, Tuskegee, Lamone Owen College. Okay, National Civil Rights Museum, Oyotunji African Village, Dr. King Museum, the Civil Rights Boat Trail. You understand? Paintball in the park, the beach, the movies, the restaurants. It's going to be fun. I might try to do a little special dip to the National African American History Museum that they just opened. I can't wait to go check that out because I know I'm going to go next week. I'm going to do a video on that after I go. I got a funny feeling that something going to piss me off when I go to that National African American History Museum that the Smithsonian put up there. Okay, mind you, this is the same Smithsonian that took one of our African brothers out of Benga, okay, so-called pygmy, and put him in a cage with gorillas. That's right, at the beginning of the 1900s. Y'all remember that, right? This was the Smithsonian Institute. Took a black boy, put him in a cage with monkeys, and took him around zoos. He was in the zoo, New York Zoo, the World's Fair, a black boy in a cage with monkeys. The Smithsonian did this. And then finally, the black church got together, protested, and they finally got our brother out of Benga released from the animal cage. And guess what that brother did right after he got released from the animal cage? He committed suicide. He committed suicide. He committed suicide. The psychological trauma and terrorism that brother had to undergo being put in a cage with monkeys caused him to commit suicide right after they let him out. You can get a book. Get the book Out of Benga. OTABENGA. Get the book on Out of Benga and read that. Never forget what the Smithsonian Institute did to our people. Never forget what the Smithsonian Institute did to our people. Okay. So, reading is not included in instructional time. Homework is not included in instructional time. Seat work is not included in instructional time. That's why we call it instructional time. All that other stuff is extra. It's important. Don't get me wrong. Homework is a must. Reading is a must. But don't cheat. Don't let that take away from the instructional time. We're talking about instructional time here. Okay? Now, somebody asked me, should we give our kids grades? Homeschool. Should they get grades? I think they should. I think they should. But I'm not against the parent who does not give out grades. You know why? Some people think grades for homeschool kids are nonsense because no parent is going to give the kid a poor grade because they think to give the kid a poor grade is to give themselves a poor grade. And guess what? They're correct to some extent. So whether you grade your kids or don't grade your kids, I think it depends on you and your child. If your child needs some extra motivation, grade them. Grade them. Okay, nothing wrong with grades. It's all about your chemistry. It's all about what you feel is necessary. But if you got an unmotivated kid, you got to grade them. Yes, if you got an unmotivated kid, you got to grade them. Make sure the homeschool kids get some socialization. Okay, make sure the homeschool kids get some socialization. One of the risk factors for a homeschool kid is they end up being socially awkward, socially anxious. They develop social phobias because the parents kept them away from other kids. So make sure you involve them in social activities. Make sure they get the social aspect of being a child so they can grow up to be healthy. We don't want them walking around acting like they autistic, okay, when they're not. Shout out to all the autistic kids. I'm going to be doing a tutorial just on autistic parents. In fact, we need to organize our autistic parents. I'm going to be doing a special teleconference just for autistic parents, special teleconference just for black parents of mentally ill African children. We're going to do a teleconference on intellectually disabled African children, deaf African children, blind African children, because I understand that these black babies are twice discriminated against. So I want those parents to know that Dr. Umar Johnson has not forgotten about you. Okay, so we're going to get all that done. And of course, when we open up Frederick Douglass, okay, maybe not immediately, but in the long term, I'm going to have a program just for autistic kids, just for deaf kids, just for blind kids, just for intellectually disabled kids, and just for kids with serious, profound emotional and psychological illness. Real ones, not the misdiagnosis, okay, but the real stuff. In fact, I'll probably have to reevaluate some of them to make sure that it was not a misdiagnosis, okay? Also, if you're a homeschooling parent, you need to go to homeschooling conferences, not just the black ones either. Okay, yes, you're going to have to get around some white folks because they the ones who be having the homeschool conferences, and some of them is pretty good, and some of them got some good resources, and I know I don't want you to be there, but you ain't got no choice because they've been doing this longer than we have, and so you need to get some of those resources, okay? So, actually, let me take that back. They haven't been doing this longer than we have. We've been doing it longer than them because before our kids can even go to school with white kids, a lot of black parents were homeschooling back in the 40s and 50s and 60s before school desegregation came because our kids wasn't allowed to go to their schools and we wasn't satisfied with the schools that we were getting. But let me say they've been organized. They have been organized on a larger scale longer than we have been. Okay, we've been homeschooling longer than them, but they have been organized on a larger scale more than we have been. So yes, you may have to definitely, okay, go to some homeschool conferences. There's a National African American Homeschoolers Association. You need to link up with them. You need to also link up with CB, the Council on Independent Black Institutions, which is based out of Trenton, New Jersey. Okay, they can also be a big help to you as well. Also, I got something else that's going to make y'all upset. Y'all ready for this? Do not let electronics dictate or dominate your homeschool environment. Do not let electronics dictate or dominate your homeschool environment. What is Dr. Umar Johnson talking about? I see too many homeschooling parents who would give their child an iPad, go to some website and, get some math video game or some language video game. And don't get me wrong, I think that these can be good supplements, but they are not replacements. Let me say that again. The electronic academic programs that you buy from Best Buy and the ones you get offline that they play with on a Samsung Galaxy and on an iPad and on a laptop, those are academic supplements. They are not replacements for instruction. Homeschooling is not a video game. Homeschooling is not a video game. This is not an arcade. But I see homeschool parents who have the kid go from this video academic game to this video academic game to this online. It's instruction. It's supposed to be interacting with you. This is supposed to be a bi-directional learning experience. Why are you reducing education to electronic games and activities? Okay, you might as well just take them to the video game store. What are you doing? Learning is not always supposed to be about entertainment. I do not like this edutainment movement because it says in order for our kids to learn, they have to be entertained. Life is not always about being entertained. Turn off the laptop, turn off the tablet, turn off the iPad. Okay? Keep electronics in its place. I'm not going to say totally exclude it. But please keep electronics in its place. Very, very important. And then there's something else. Don't homeschool kids against their will. You got a bad relationship with your child. Why are you homeschooling a child that you have a bad relationship with? Does that make any sense? If me and my daughter don't get along, what the hell am I doing trying to homeschool her? That ain't nothing but re-traumatization. You don't homeschool a kid who don't even like being in the house. This goes back to the point that I spoke about earlier about your house being healthy. But then the other question is your relationship with that child healthy? Is your relationship with that child healthy? You understand? That's the other thing that has to be dealt with. Okay? Okay. Also, there's a lot of advice on the internet about homeschooling. I'm not against it. Some of it's good. I say most of it's good. But be careful. You can't listen to white folks' advice all the time because their kids benefit from a white privilege. So they'll say, don't worry about grades. Don't worry about standards. Don't worry about a good curriculum. Don't worry about this. Don't worry about that. Well, guess what? It's okay for you to say that when you know your child going to get the job anyway just because they're white. It's okay for you to say that when you know your child is going to get accepted to Harvard and Yale and Princeton and the University of Pennsylvania just because they're white. Black kids don't benefit from a white privilege. Black kids suffer because of white racism. So, okay, we're not running a Montessori operation, okay? Your homeschool better not be a self-guided self-discovery into the academic competencies of what is most suited for that chosen field of human endeavor that I'm not even sure in which I will be participating. Okay, I don't do Montessori. Dr. Umar Johnson does not do Montessori, and if your child is in Montessori, they better be out of it by the 4th grade. They better be out of it by the 4th grade. That self-guided self-discovery nonsense, that's nonsense. I've evaluated a lot of black Montessori kids whose parents wanted to know what their grades are, what grade level they reading on, what grade level they doing math on, because the Montessori school, we don't give out grades. We don't give out grades. We let children find themselves in what world? You're talking about black kids living in a racially hostile environment where they got to fight for everything, okay? Where they got to fight for every single thing that they get, okay? And you got them in some self-guided discovery learning program with white privileged kids, white kids who benefit from white privilege, want to get the job anyway, get the bank loan anyway, no matter what they know and don't know. Are you out of your mind? Black people, wake up. Okay. Also, your homeschool environment needs to have the right materials in it. Your homeschool environment needs to have the right materials in it. Make sure you have a whiteboard, some markers, ink pens, crayons. Okay, make sure you have it. That space, your divine homeschool sanctuary, make sure it is well stocked. You should never have to leave that room for anything. If you have to leave that room for anything, then your homeschool center is not well stocked and you are not well organized. If you have to leave that room for anything except the restroom, then guess what? It is not well stocked and it is not well organized. I've heard parents say, if I leave this room, I won't come back for another hour because I don't have that type of discipline. There's so much going on in my house. So guess what? Sometimes you have to go in there and lock yourself in with the kid. You don't come out till you're done, because if you leave that room, you know all types of stuff is going to happen. All types of stuff is going to happen. Okay, so know your discipline level. Be patient. Don't prejudge your effectiveness as a homeschool parent. I see parents try homeschool for 2 weeks and say, I'm done. You only been doing it for 2. I don't think that. You got to give it time. The child has to adjust to you. You have to adjust to the child. It takes some time. Don't just judge yourself right from the gate and say, I'm not a good homeschooling parent. You got to be fair. Okay, that's another thing. That goes back to the psychological self-assessment. If you are someone who engages in a lot of self-verbal abuse, that's when we verbally abuse ourselves, a lot of self-pity, you might not be good as a homeschooling teacher. Yes, if you have a lot of pessimistic comments to make to yourself about yourself, then you're not going to be a good homeschooling parent. I would recommend you not do it, because your child is going to pick up on that energy and they get affected by it. Remember, mental illness can be learned from the child. Mental illness is not passed down through our DNA. Mental illness is learned by example. Okay? If you are a low self-esteem parent, you will end up raising a low self-esteem child. If you are a depressed-oriented type of a parent, you will raise a child with depressive personality disorder. You have to know yourself. Are you the best teacher for your child? Remember what I said earlier. Remember what I said earlier. And by the way, I see a couple trolls on this feed. I don't want y'all to worry about the trolls, because what I do after every feed is I scroll down and I find the trolls like Eric Anthony and I block them. And so Eric Anthony will never be posting ever again in his life on my page. So for those of y'all who want to troll my page, you have a right to. I just got one question. Is it worth it? Is it really worth it saying something ridiculously stupid that's going to get you banned from Dr. Umar's page for the rest of your life? So think about that. If I was you, I would take it down. Okay. I also see a Christian Muslim argument developing on my page. I don't do religion. I respect everybody's religion, but this is about educating our kids. So I don't know who brought up Jesus and I don't know who brought up Muhammad, you see. But this is one of the problems we have as African people. We always have to bring somebody's religion in. And you know why we always bring a religion in? Because we've been conditioned that our religion is better than everybody else's. Here's the trivia question for today. I want my Muslim fanatics and my Christian fanatics. Notice I said fanatics, because most Christians are not fanatical. Most Muslims are not fanatical. I'm talking about you fundamentalist, extremist, Mohammedans, and Jesus Christians, okay? I got one question. How many wars have been fought in human history over African spirituality? I'm going to ask you again. How many wars have been fought in human history over African spirituality? When did the science of the Yoruba go to war with the science of the Akan? When did the science of the Dogon go to war with the science of Kemet? When did the science of Voodoo go to war with the science of Santeria? When did the science of Palo go to war with the science of Lukumi? When did the science of the Rastafari ever go to war with the science of the gods and earths? It don't. Because African spirituality is not about dominating other people's religious opinions. Do you understand? That's only when you're dealing with you Hotep Negroes, always wanting to fight and force your opinions on other people. That's why within the philosophy of revolutionary Pan-African nationalism, we say to each his own. If the brother want to be a Christian, let him be. If he wants to be a Muslim, let him be. I don't care how he prays. I don't care what he believes religiously. I only care how he thinks about African people, African redemption, African freedom, and African future. That's it. I don't care how you eat. I don't care how you pray. I don't care none of that. How do you think about us and our problems and our redemption and our freedom? Stop majoring in the minors. Whatever you want to call God, call God. When are you Negroes going to grow up? Don't worry about it, Brother Eric. I don't want you to buy no tickets to my show, bro. You're not the type of person I want in the audience, all right? And I'm going to delete you when I'm done because you're still running your mouth. Okay. If I was you, I would just take all your comments down and chill. I'm going to let you live. Okay? But I understand. You got that Willie Lynch thing. It's okay, brother. I love it. Willie Lynch, self-hate. We all got it. Okay? You just got a little bit worse. I'm helping parents about homeschooling, and you want to come in disrespect, but that's okay. That's what you're here for. God bless you. Okay, as we begin to roll out, I would say give yourself at least 6 to 12 months to do a thorough assessment of your homeschooling ability. And that's why you also need a homeschooling coach who can coach you into becoming a better homeschool parent. Some people are natural teachers. Some people have to be trained teachers. It's okay if you need to be trained. Get the help. Swallow your ego. It's about your child. It's not about you. Also, when you instruct a child, 45 minutes blocks should be followed by a 10-15-minute break. I repeat, 45-minute block of instruction should be followed by a 10 to 15-minute break. Let me say it again. Every 45-minute block of instruction should be followed by a 10 to 15-minute break. This is why when we went to school, you have 45 minutes of math, 45 minutes of English, 45 minutes of reading, because cognitive science says that the brain is hardwired to download every 45 minutes and reboot like a computer. So 45 minutes and then you take a break. That means what? If your homeschooling operation is 6 hours, it's really 5 hours. If your homeschooling operation is 5 hours, it's really 4 hours. Why? Because if you got to take out 15 minutes every hour to take a break, then guess what? You end up only having what? 4 hours or a little less than. You end up having what? 5 hours or a little less than. So if you say I homeschool from 7 until 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. is 6 hours. But you got 4 15-minute breaks or 5 15-minute breaks in there. So it's really not a 6-hour program. It's a 5-hour program. And how many hours did Dr. Umar said you need for your homeschooling program to be effective? Okay, you need 20 hours a week. So you could do 4 days. You could take Friday off. I'm going to give you Friday off. You could take Friday off or you could take Monday off. Which one you want off? Most of you want Friday off. Okay, so we're going to homeschool Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 7 a.m. until 1 p.m. Okay, that's 6 hours minus the break. You got 5 hours. Or you could do 7 a.m. until 12. That's 5 hours minus the break. You got 4 hours. Okay, you can take Friday off, and then on Saturday, you do a 2-hour booster session. Sunday afternoon, you do a 2-hour booster session. So you can get creative with this. Yes, you can give yourself a day off, but only if you get all your instruction in. You have to punish yourself. That's right. If you didn't get covered a lesson plan, if that curriculum calendar wasn't fully adhered to, then Friday is not a vacation. Friday is a makeup day because you were not sticking to your task. And guess what? If you punish yourself by doing school on Friday because you did not stick to, because you did not stick to your curriculum calendar and your lesson plans, then guess what? You will find yourself starting to stick to it because you want Friday. You're looking forward to that Friday break. So you're going to stay on task on Monday. You're going to stay on task on Tuesday. You're going to stay on task on Wednesday. You're going to stay on task on Friday because you're going to want that break. You understand? So Monday through Thursday, 5 hours each day, which is really 4. That's your 4, 8, 12, 16. Friday off, a 2-hour booster on Saturday, a 2-hour booster on Sunday. There you go. There you go. But I don't want you to say, well, you know what? We're gonna do 5 hours a day for 4 hours and we ain't gonna take no breaks. You cannot do that. Because your child is gonna tune out mentally. They're gonna tune out mentally. You cannot force the brain to do what the brain ain't designed to do. 45 minutes. Take a break. It's the same way you should study. We have college students watching this, and I'm gonna do a tutorial on how to study and how to take tests. I'm gonna do a tutorial for my college students and my high school students on how to study, okay, and how to take a test. 45 minutes, take a break. That's how it works. Okay? Also, I think you should begin your homeschooling day. Okay? I think you should begin your homeschooling day with a meditation. Remember, the homeschooling room is a divine sanctuary. Your child should walk in. You might even have them put on a certain outfit for homeschooling and then take it off. Uniforms are very empowering to the psyche. That's why everybody had uniforms. Marcus Garvey had uniforms. Mr. Muhammad had uniforms. Black Panther had a uniform. Okay, all the white leaders had uniforms. Uniforms are very important. So your child, you might say, put on your homeschool uniform. We're about to homeschool. We're done. Take it off. Psychologically. You see, psychological symbolism, very, very powerful. Okay? No, you don't come to homeschool with your pajamas on. Take your shower, put your homeschool outfit on. Psychologically empowering. Yes, very, very important. Very, very important. Okay? All right? So 20 hours a week. Okay? 4 hours a day or 5 hours a day, but make sure you minus an hour because of your 15-minute breaks. Okay? Also, the homeschool environment can be personable, but it should still be professional. The homeschool environment can be personable, but it should still be professional. That's why you want to give it its home space. I've never seen a whole home turn into a homeschooling environment when you use the whole house. This is why I'm against it. And it looks professional. It looks like a damn junkyard. It looks chaotic. No, give it its space, make it divine, bless it on the regular, keep it professional. Personable, but professional. Okay, no TVs on when you're teaching, none of that type of stuff. Okay? All right? So, with that, I'm about to close out because it's almost time to get on over to do my thing. Orlando, Florida. Prince of Pan-Africanism is speaking today in Orlando. Tickets are available at the door. You can also get them online if you choose. Doors open at 3. I begin speaking at 4. And then next week, Greenville, South Carolina. Greenville, South Carolina. The Nat Turner Power Lecture, Thursday, November the 10th from 6 until 8. You can get your tickets right now at princeofpanafricanism.eventbrite.com. And then the next day, November the 11th, there will be a special program, a lunch program, a lunch lecture or dinner lecture, okay, honoring African heroes and sheroes who have given their life in a cause of African freedom and redemption. I will be keynoting that as well, and that is a separate Eventbrite link. So I will be speaking 2 days in Greenville, the Power Lecture Thursday, and then a special ceremony to honor Black veterans on Friday. Okay, so brothers and sisters, this is Dr. Umar Johnson. Don't forget, every Tuesday we do the Black Parent Teleconference every single Tuesday. If you need that information, please text me for it, WhatsApp me for it. So we got Greenville next weekend, Thursday and Friday, and then we have Columbus, Georgia. I will be in Columbus, Georgia for the first time Tuesday, November the 22nd. I will be in Queens, New York, Sunday, December the 11th. That is Queens, New York, Sunday, December the 11th. I will be in Elizabeth, New Jersey, Saturday, December the 10th. Elizabeth, New Jersey, Saturday, December the 10th. I will be in Memphis at the University of Memphis Men of Color Conference, which will be on Saturday, November the 19th. University of Memphis, Tennessee, main campus, Men of Color Conference, Saturday, November the 19th. If you need the flyer, you can text me for it, email me for it, WhatsApp me for it, okay? And also Turks and Caicos Island. I will be going to the Caribbean, Turks and Caicos Island. I will be doing a tour there of all the islands. I'm going to go to Grand Turk, Providenciales, Little Turk, all the islands. Looking forward to meeting my brothers and sisters from the Turks and Caicos Islands, where I've never been. That will be the 14th through the 18th. So keep me in your prayers. Wish me a safe and blessed lecture today. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters who have been supporting Dr. Umar Johnson's work. We hope you join the National Independent Black Parent Association. We hope you donate to the fundraiser. We got the National Ex-Offender Conference coming out. We hope to see you in San Diego, California, January 26th to the 29th for the National Independent Black Parent Association Training Conference. I'm not perfect. I'm just trying to do my best. God bless y'all.